This is your girl live from the front lines of the Manila dating market. You think she's with you for your sparkling personality and your war stories? Let me break it down for you, Kuya. You're not a boyfriend, you're a retirement plan, a walking, talking 401k. And if you don't understand the brutal rules of this specific investment vehicle, you're the one who's going to end up emotionally and financially bankrupt. Pay attention, because I am about to give you the playbook she is already using on you. I see you. Fresh off the plane, maybe fresh off a divorce. You're somewhere between 35 and 65, with a bit of a gut, a lot of loneliness, and a pocket full of dollars that feels like a king's ransom here. You think you've hit the jackpot, a beautiful young woman who laughs at your jokes and makes you feel like a god again. You've been warned. That feeling is the most expensive drug on this island, and the dealers all know that you are a first time buyer looking for a fix. Dating in the Philippines isn't a romance movie. It's a high stakes poker game where you're the tourist at a table of local sharks. You're playing with your heart, your savings, and your pride. Every smile is a potential bluff, every sob story a calculated raise. You think you're holding a winning hand because she's beautiful and calls you honey, but you haven't even seen the flop. The house, her family, her culture, her survival instinct has an edge you can't even comprehend yet. This isn't Vegas. The house is designed to win. And when you lose here, you don't just walk away from the table, you get cleaned out. I'm not just talking about your bank account, which will be systematically drained by family emergencies that are as predictable as the sunrise. I'm talking about your dignity. You'll become a ghost, a cautionary tale whispered among the other expats at the bar. The guy who went all in for a fantasy and was left with nothing but a return ticket and a hole in his chest where his self respect used to be. But what if you could learn the tells? What if you knew which cards to hold and when to fold? I've sat on both sides of this table. I've seen good men get destroyed, and I've seen smart men thrive. The difference isn't luck or love, it's information, it's a strategy. I'm going to give you that strategy, a step by step battle plan, because watching another well meaning foreigner get played is just getting boring. It's you against the world, and I'm slipping you the cheat sheet. So before we even start, before I give you the first of my ironclad rules, you need to be brutally honest with yourself. Look in the mirror, past the guy who thinks he's found a second chance at youth and passion. Look at the player who is about to risk it all. Forget what you want. What is the game you're actually playing? You have to decide right now, before you spend another dime or another dream on her. Are you here for love, sex, or survival? Alright, let's map this war zone. The first mistake you're making is thinking your only competition is the young, local guys. Tagalog ka ba? No. Your real rivals are the other 50-something white guys in cargo shorts sitting at the same bar, thinking the same thoughts. You think you're special? You're a type. I saw a guy, we'll call him Dave, bragging about the tuition he was paying for his future wife. Turns out, two other Daves at his hotel were also funding her education. You're not in a relationship, you're in a syndicate. The second mistake is the hero complex. You hear a sob story about a sick Lola or a typhoon-damaged roof, and you reach for your wallet like you're Captain America. You're not saving her, you're auditioning for the role of lead provider. My cousin's friend, let's call her Princess, had her Australian boyfriend build a whole new room on the family house for her privacy. It was for her local boyfriend to have a place to stay. You didn't just pay an expense, you funded an infrastructure project for your own replacement. And that leads to mistake number 3, falling for the emergency. The lost phone, the unpaid rent, the brother's medical bill. These aren't emergencies, they are subscription fees. A guy I know from Cebu, a sweet German man, was so proud he could always help his girlfriend. For a year, her entire family seemed to have a new crisis every Friday, right on payday. He wasn't her boyfriend, he was her recurring weekly donor, the most reliable part of their budget. He thought he was building love, but he was just building a dependency. Are you seeing the pattern here? These are the entry level tests, the initial probes. They are designed to do one thing: gauge your desperation and measure the depth of your pockets. You're not building a connection, you're responding to a series of carefully managed crises. Each time you send the money without question, you're telling her, and by extension, her entire village, that you are open for business. Your borders are weak, and the supply lines are undefended. It's an open invitation to escalate. But losing a few $100s here and there, that's just the cost of admission. It's a tuition fee for this education, and you've barely made it through orientation. This is the easy level. What we've talked about so far is how you lose your money. The next mistake I'm going to walk you through is how you lose your dignity, your reputation, and your goddamn mind. And once that's gone, the money won't even matter. Pay attention, because this is where the game gets dirty. Now let's talk about mistake number 4. You think her jealousy is a compliment. When she gets angry about you talking to the waitress or liking another girl's photo on Facebook, you think, wow, she really loves me. No, Kuya, that's not passion, it's a rangefinder. She's seeing how far she can push you, how quickly you will apologize for a crime you didn't commit. The moment you start defending yourself, you've already lost. You've just shown her the trigger that makes you dance, and she will pull it every single time she wants you to fall in line. And then comes mistake number 5, the one that breaks even the strongest men. You fall for the tears. She whispers that you don't care, that you're pulling away, that maybe she should just go back to her simple life. This is not a cry for help, it's a negotiation. You react by desperately trying to prove her wrong. You buy a more expensive gift, you cancel your trip home, you say I love you when you meant to say I need to think. You just paid for her emotional outburst with a piece of your future. This is the core of it all, the decision you have to make. Are you a captain or are you a taxi? A captain has a destination, he has a map, he knows the route, and everyone on his ship either follows his command or they get off at the next port. A taxi driver, he just goes wherever the passenger wants, blindly following directions, hoping for a good tip at the end. She doesn't want a taxi, she wants to board a ship. Stop letting her grab the wheel every time there's a little turbulence. Mistake number 6 is thinking the relationship is private. The second she posts a photo of you two with the hashtag blessed, you are no longer a man, you are an announcement. You are a status symbol, a walking, talking billboard that says, my family is now secure. This isn't just for her friends, it's a warning to her rivals and a promise to her family. It also makes it 10 times harder for you to leave. Breaking up with her isn't a private matter anymore. It's a public downgrading of her social standing. You see the shift? This isn't about your wallet anymore. It's about colonizing your mind. Each test you fail gives her more territory. You become so desperate for the validation she provides, so afraid of her disapproval, that you hand over your own authority piece by piece. You trade your own certainty for the possibility of her happiness. But a man who negotiates from a place of need will always be outplayed. The game changes when you stop negotiating with hope. Okay, enough of the horror stories. I've shown you the traps, the ambushes, the ways they flank you. Now, you stop playing defense. You stop reacting. We are going on the offensive. This is where you take control. We are going to build a system, a checklist, a pre-flight inspection for your emotions and your wallet. You don't let a plane take off without checking the engines and the flaps. So why are you letting a relationship reach cruising altitude with no idea who is in the cockpit? It's insanity. First, you need a filter, a non-negotiable zero-tolerance filter. Let's call it the day 1 test. From the very first conversation, you listen. Is she talking about her dreams, her passions, her goals? Or is she talking about her problems, her family's needs, her financial struggles? One is a potential partner. The other is a business proposal disguised as a damsel in distress. You are not her therapist or her bank. If the conversation is 90% a list of her needs, you thank her for her time and you walk away. Next, you apply the no test. It's the simplest and most powerful tool in your arsenal. The next time a mini crisis appears, the lost phone, the cousin's tuition, you say no. Not an angry no, not a defensive no, a calm, firm, friendly no. That sounds really tough, Mahal. I hope you figure it out. Then you watch. Does she get angry? Does she give you the silent treatment? Or does she say, okay, I understand, and the relationship continues? Her reaction is everything. It tells you if you are a partner or a piggy bank. The results of your test demand a decision. This is where you can't be weak. If she failed the test, if she punished you for saying no, if she tried to manipulate you with guilt, the data is in. The verdict is clear. You are not in a relationship. You are in a transaction that you are no longer funding. You must be willing to execute the exit strategy. You don't argue, you don't explain, you don't negotiate. You just close the gate. The flight is cancelled. Permanently. This is your new operating system. Filter, test, decide, exit. It is a ruthless, emotionless checklist because that is the only language the market understands. This is your pre flight protocol before you even think about taking off. I want you to burn this into your brain, write it down, tattoo it on your arm, I don't care. Because everything we've talked about until now has been theory. In the next part, we go live. We're taking this out of the classroom and into the field. This is your final warning to get ready. The game is live. Think of it like ping pong. She serves, a shot disguised as a crisis. She's crying, the rent is late, and her landlord is a monster. Your old programming screams, return the shot. But your new operating system engages. Filter, test. You see the ball coming in slow motion, not as a crisis, but as data. You calmly say your line. That sounds terrible. I hope you figure it out. You don't hit the ball back. You let it fly right past you. Because the point isn't to play, it's to see if she's even playing by the rules. Now comes the volley. The tears become anger. She accuses you of being cold, of never loving her. She's trying to move you from your position, to make you react emotionally and lunge for the ball. This is the test of your frame. Are you a captain or are you a taxi? A taxi swerves. A captain holds the course. The silence on the other end of the phone is the sound of your own power echoing back at you. You didn't buy a ticket for this drama and you aren't getting on stage. This is the fire swamp. The loneliness will hit you like a physical blow. You'll be tempted to fold, to send the money just to get that sweet validation back. This is her expecting you to chase her shot. You must let her ball bounce and bounce again and roll off the table. A man who is terrified of being alone will always be a slave to the woman who is not. Your silence is not a punishment. It is a declaration that your peace is not for sale today. And what happens? The storm passes. A week later, a quiet text. Hey, the emergency is never mentioned again. She was just checking if the ATM was still online. By refusing to play, you didn't just save a few $100s, you saved your sanity. You taught her, without a single angry word, where the boundaries of your kingdom lie. You demonstrated that the price of admission to your world is not money but stability, and she is the one who must pay it. This proves the ultimate truth of the game. You're not here to score points, you're here to disqualify players who can't handle a championship match. You win when she realizes your side of the court is a fortress, not a playground. Every move you make, every word you say, must be governed by this principle. Because that brings us to the final unbreakable law of this entire goddamn jungle, the one that separates the kings from the ghosts. So let's get this straight. You are not a bee, desperately buzzing from one flower to the next, begging for a drop of nectar. You are the entire damn garden. You cultivate your soil, your finances, your peace, your purpose. until it is so rich and stable that only the best bees, the ones not looking for a quick fix, are worthy of entry. Your value is not in the chase, your value is in the destination you have built. Stop chasing, become the place she has to prove she deserves to land. Here is the ultimate law. You are not her savior, you are her stock market. She is looking for a low risk, long term investment, not a volatile startup. The minute you try to compete with the passion and drama of a local boy, you've already lost. Your power is your predictability. Your stability is your sex appeal. This isn't cynicism, Kuya. It's market economics. Stop trying to be a romance novel and start being a blue chip stock. The game is the game, and you're here to win. I've laid out the strategy. Now you give me the intel. In the comments below, I want to hear it all. The story of the one that got away or the one that cleaned you out. Every comment is a lesson for the next soldier in our army. Like this video to get it to the men who are walking into the ambush as we speak. Subscribe because your training is not over. We are building a battalion of men who refuse to be casualties. Your report from the field is now mandatory. And if these rules just saved you $1,000, a year of your life, or what's left of your dignity, you know how to show your thanks. The super thanks, the PayPal. That's the ammunition that keeps this channel broadcasting from the front lines. Now for your final order. In the next 24 hours, your only mission is to practice one thing, a powerful strategic silence. The next time a test comes, you don't react. You just watch. You hold your ground. Now go get your fucking power back.